morning, everyone. I hope your day has been good. Who knew that trying to homeschool, work, and run a home was going to be quite so exhausting? Probably a lot of you, I would imagine. So I think I might manage a post every other day, which I quite like because it will keep me away from technology a little bit. Because one of the things I've become increasingly aware of is, like everybody, I'm relying on technology all the time. And thank God for it, because it's really come into its own, of course, because at the moment we're using in such a vibrant and original format. My mum's doing online choir classes. My daughter had an online piano lesson yesterday. But it did occur to me that before this crisis started, a lot of us were trying to shift our relationship with technology, perhaps not rely on it quite so much. Why? Because we're being told that our levels of concentration are reduced by technology, that sitting on computers for long periods of time aren't great for our children's mental health, and being around technological devices keeps us alert a lot of the time in a way that isn't particularly healthy or necessary. But how are we mere mortals supposed to survive the next however long we've got through this coronavirus crisis without spending all this time on technology? Well, perhaps it's about finding alternative ways to look after ourselves. In a previous video, we talked about the importance of exercise. Last time I talked about photography savouring, which I'm really going for at the moment. But what I wanted to talk about today was mindfulness, and a particular practice of mindfulness that's kind of gone out of popularity really, but was one of the first types of mindfulness meditations I was taught many, many years ago, and that's of candle gazing. First of all, let's just have a little bit of a conversation about what mindfulness is. Unless you've been sitting under a rock recently, you'll have heard about it. Mindfulness is big business now, and it's had a resurgence in industry and business and in research over the last 10 years. And what we know about mindfulness is it has a lot of practical well-being outcomes. It can reduce stress, it can help us with anxiety, it supports us through depression, it can change mood. And generally, people who practice some form of mindfulness meditation have higher levels of subjective well-being. So it's got all these amazing advantages, but what is it really? Well, if I quote one of the leading researchers into mindfulness meditation, Ellen Langer, one of the ways she simply describes it is the act of noticing. Noticing what you're doing, noticing what you're feeling, trying to get us to stay in the present rather than thinking about the past or the future, which for all of us may well be pretty difficult at the moment. But when I thought about talking about mindfulness today, it occurred to me that mindfulness is also connected to technology these days. There's a plethora of apps that you can use to help you. There are some fantastic videos on YouTube, for example, that will help and guide you through meditative practice. But none of that helps us if we want to cut away from technology during the day. So that's why I started thinking about candle gazing, which was a practice I was taught about 1,000 years ago when I trained to be a yoga teacher. Way back when, in the days where I didn't need glasses, I trained at the Shivananda ashram in Naya Dam. And as part of my daily yoga practices in various twiddly postures and breathing techniques, one of the focuses of our day was meditation. Now, there's a difference between meditation and mindfulness. Meditation really is the house that homes various rooms that mindfulness lives in, if you like. If mindfulness, as Langer suggests, is really the art of noticing, then meditation really is the way you decide to do it. But there's one ancient practice called Trataka. Trataka is a Sanskrit word that means gaze, and it's a form of one-pointed meditation. In traditional Shivananda Vedanta yoga, it's normally found in a series of cleansing rituals called Chat Kriyas, which are ways of cleaning the body. And in this case, because it's a form of gaze, it cleans the eyes. But one of its main benefits is the way it allows us to focus our attention. It quietens the mind by allowing the eyes to focus on one point and follow the natural ebb and flow of the candle flame. One of the reasons I have always loved Trataka is because most of us love the smell of a candle, and we light a candle when we're trying to treat ourselves or make something special. So this way of focusing attention sets a scene and reminds you that you are special. Gazing upon a candle for a long period of time without blinking is supposed to aid vision and relieve depression and increase vitality, which is one of the reasons it's part of the cleansing rituals in traditional forms of yoga. Now, those physical benefits I can't send you a link to. However, anecdotally, my previous students, when I would teach them, would report better vision, less sleeping problems, and lower levels of anxiety. The practice is simple and requires nothing more than a candle and a chair. Try to gently look as long as possible at the candle, and don't worry if your eyes start to water. When you close them, you'll feel a lovely refreshing release. And then when you do close your eyes, just notice what you see. For most of us, we see the outline of the flickering candle, or perhaps we see the candle in itself. This aids us in helping our concentration. It gives us a focus point, which is so difficult for most of us to do, which is why we do rely on audiobooks or visual stimulus. If you find that your thoughts start to wander again, open your eyes and re-look at the candle. It's the simplicity of candle gazing that I've always loved so much. And because of our associations with candles, it makes the meditative process a little bit more of an event. But whatever you decide to do, there's no doubt that at this time for all of us, being able to increase our levels of mindfulness practice would be really beneficial. And if you're looking for something that takes you away from technology for a while, you can't go too far wrong with a bit of candle gazing. Disclaimer at this point, don't light a candle after you've had a few glasses of wine or when your kids are around, but I'd love to hear how you get on, or whatever the practice is that you find helps you remain present. Stay calm.